Hey, what's up guys? Philip here, bringing you another review, and today we're going to be checking out this cool Razer keyboard called the Huntsman Mini. And what's so special about this thing is that it is a 60% keyboard. Most other companies out there like Logitech and SteelSeries, they make mechanical keyboards, but none of them make small ones like this. One of Razer's most recent keyboards they released was the Razer Ontaro, and that thing is a full size, and you can see the difference between these keyboards, and it's huge. There's a big difference, and the biggest difference is obviously you're missing the number pad and like the center pad here with the arrow keys and all that. Make sure y'all watch till the end to hear my pros and cons on what I think about this keyboard here. And yeah, let's kick things off by checking out what was in the package. So in the package, you're gonna get the keyboard, of course, a detachable USB-C to USB-A cable, and a quick start guide that will show you how to use some of the basic features on this keyboard. So my first impressions with this keyboard was that this thing's form factor was tiny. It has that 60% layout, which is gonna be missing the number pad and the arrow keys, and that's gonna make your setup look a lot cleaner, and it's gonna be a lot easier for you to use your mouse on the desk because you're not gonna be like bumping into your number pad or anything like that. Now the length of this keyboard is going to be short, but the height is pretty much going to be average compared to most mechanical keyboards. If you've owned a mechanical keyboard in the past or seen one, they're all roughly around this height, and this thing is pretty much going to be the same height as most mechanical keyboards out there. And now the material of this keyboard. Starting with the keycaps, these things are made fully of a PBT material, which feel good to me, no complaints here. The only thing I may have a concern with is that the letters are printed onto the keycaps, and I'm just worried that with like half a year of use time, these letters are going to start to wear off with time, but we'll have to see about that later in the future. If we flip to the back side of the keyboard, it's also made of a plastic material, and it has Razer's slogan printed all over the back. I thought that created a pretty cool texture pattern. And then the legs are also adjustable. You're gonna get a 6-degree angle and a 9-degree angle, so it's gonna give you a more ergonomic typing experience. And then the cable of the keyboard is gonna be made of a braided material. Feels durable, doesn't feel cheap or anything like that. And this thing is not wireless. Even though the cable is detachable, the lights are gonna turn off and it's not gonna be functional. The reason this thing is detachable is, I guess, if you accidentally rip the cable, or I don't know what, or if you wanna customize your cable, a lot of people get like those coiled cables, and that looks pretty cool as well with a mechanical keyboard setup. The RGB lights on this keyboard are also fantastic. They don't feel like they're dim or weak or anything like that, so no complaints here. Something to note though with the lights is that they don't have that white plastic back that kind of bounces the light off to make it more vivid. So it's not like going to be as bright as something like the Razer Ontaro, which I reviewed in my last video if you want to check that out. But these things are still going to be pretty bright, and I had no complaints here, as I said earlier. And by default, the keyboard is going to have 6 different light presets, and some of them are just going to be static colors, different glowing patterns, etc, etc. But if you want to customize those, you can install the Razer Synapse software and customize them there further. And along with the lights, you can also customize some macro keys and other cool little things. Something that I thought was pretty cool is if you actually push the caps key, you can see that it lights up into a different color even if the keyboard is off, or if the RGB lights are on, it's gonna stand out. And I thought that was pretty cool because they don't have room to put like an indicator light on this keyboard, so I thought it was pretty creative of them to, you know, have the key itself light up as an indicator. Now, even though this is not a full-size keyboard and there's really not much room to add like volume and media controls, Razer pulled it off and managed to add them all on the keyboard. They are built into the keys on the keyboard, so like the letter Q, W, E, R, all those upper keys up there, they're gonna have the media controls there, and to use them, you're gonna have to hold the function key and then press it to activate those media controls. And you're going to be able to do things like hit previous, next on your tracks, and then you can adjust the volume, and you also have regular arrow keys built into the letter. And speaking of keys, this keyboard is going to have 2 different switches by default that you can purchase the keyboard with. You're going to have the purple switches and the red switches. I haven't had much experience with the purple switches, but they are very similar to the blues. And I have 2 keyboards with me here. I have a blue switch mechanical keyboard and the Razer Razer Huntsman Mini, which is using the purples. And the biggest difference that I noticed between the two keys was that the purples feel like they are a little more fluid because they have this little metal spring system that kind of lets the key go up and down a little bit more smoother. However, with regular blue keycaps, you're not going to have that metal springy lever system, and it's not going to feel as fluid, even though it still feels great, just not as good as Razer's purple switches. If y'all want to see a review video of the blue switch keyboard that we just tested here, I'm going to leave a link to that down in the description below. And it's pretty much half the price of this Razer keyboard here, and I think it's pretty competitive and pretty good. Now my pros and cons with the Razer Huntsman Mini. So I pretty much have one main con regarding the product itself, and that is the spacebar. This thing has a little bit of rattle and it just doesn't feel that good. If I like tap this thing, you can hear some rattle. Check this out. I don't know, it just feels a little unpolished there, but the rest of the keys, they don't really have rattle, just the spacebar. The other con I have was the price. It is a little bit pricey for a mechanical keyboard, and it's gonna run you $120. And there's a lot of full-size keyboards or other smaller size 60% keyboards you can get for less than that. So I guess that's not really a complaint, it's just I felt like the price was a little high for what you get. And now the pros. I got 3 pros, and one of them are definitely the key switches. I really like how the purple key switches feel compared to the blues. They feel more fluid and just a little more polished than the blues. So definitely get the purples if you have the opportunity to get them. Another pro of this keyboard is the detachable USB-C cable in the back. And this is cool because if you accidentally rip it or break it, or if you want to get like a coiled cable, it's going to make your setup look a little more cool if you're into that kind of thing. So I like that Razer is kind of curating towards the people who like to customize their mechanical keyboards. And then the last pro I have with the keyboard is that it is a 60% size mechanical keyboard, and that is pretty cool because it's going to make your desk setup look nicer and free up a lot of space. So definitely recommend getting a 60%. If this thing's a little pricey for you, I'd recommend getting this blue one here, the one I featured in the video earlier. If you want to get this, I'm going to leave a review video of that down in the description below, as well as where you can purchase it. And I'm also going to leave a link to where you can purchase this keyboard as well. And with all that being said, if you want to stay up to date with what's happening in the tech world, make sure you click that subscribe button and I'll keep you in the loop. Don't forget to like this video and leave your comments down below. See you next time.